Your neurodivergence is not a superpower. It's much more complicated than that. Whether autistic or an ADHDer, you experience and interpret the world differently. While being neurodivergent may come with some noticeable benefits, these are balanced with extra challenges, leading to a spiky profile of strengths and difficulties. None of us can be brilliant at everything, but because you live in a society that rarely accommodates these difficulties, you are likely to experience greater obstacles in everyday life. Traditionally, assessing and diagnosing neurodivergence has involved comparing a person's observable behaviors and deficits to a list of characteristics defined in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition text revision, and the International Classification of Diseases and Related Health Problems, 11th revision. You are considered to meet the diagnostic criteria if you demonstrate enough of the listed behaviors. This approach has many weaknesses. Early definitions of autism and ADHD emerged from studies that measured the disturbances of affective contact of boys. Unfortunately, modern diagnostic criteria are still built on the experiences of white boys and men. Most assessments are based on a limited set of observable behaviors, without considering other potential expressions of autism and ADHD that can emerge from the same neurobiological origins. Those who hide or internalize their neurodivergent differences and show fewer obvious behavioral patterns are routinely overlooked, particularly in women, trans and non-binary folk, those from First Nations, and people of color. Many are denied diagnosis because they have developed coping strategies that hide the behaviors listed in these criteria, yet have subtle behavior patterns and an inner experience consistent with neurodivergence. When I was a child, my mother spent a lot of time teaching me to behave properly. She expected me to hold eye contact in every social situation, speak up about my needs, and put up with long, boring family parties without complaining. She even tried to teach me how to walk with my arms swinging, saying that walking with my arms by my side was too odd. I tried to explain that loud noises hurt my head and that being around lots of people exhausted me. I began to slip away from family events as soon as no one was watching. No one ever considered that I was autistic. It wasn't something girls had back then. I've had a lot of anxiety over my life, and wonder whether things would have been different if my autism had been noticed as a child. Alice. Fortunately, skilled clinicians are starting to recognize that the differences in how autistic people and ADHDers experience the world may not always be easily observable. We can now identify 6 information processing differences that directly influence your experience of life as a neurodivergent person.